Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nivi and I load healthy recipes twice a week. So today I am going to share some healthy breakfast recipes which is very easy to make. It's a staple in most of the Indian household. So to start this recipe, I am using little bit of ghee. So I try to make my food in ghee or either avocado oil, and I use very little of it, not a lot, but you can use any oil you want. So today I'm going to make namkeen semia using vermicelli. After adding the ghee, I am going to add some mustard seeds. So I'm taking half tablespoon of mustard seeds here. And when you're adding the mustard seeds, please be careful because when it splutters, it can burn wherever it lands on. After that, I'm taking cumin seed. So I am using half tablespoon of cumin seed here, and I'm going to wait for it to splutter. I like this combination, that's the reason I use it, but you can use whatever you want. Mostly in north part of India, we mostly use cumin seeds and not much of mustard. After that, I am adding half tablespoon of turmeric powder into it. I love adding turmeric to my food because it has so many medicinal properties and it tastes really good as well. After that, I am going to add the potatoes to this mix. So first I'm trying to cook my potatoes, and I'm also adding some tomatoes just to make sure that it's cooked properly before I can add other vegetables. So I also have some carrot here, frozen peas and frozen broccoli, and then I'm adding a little bit of salt to make sure that it's getting cooked faster. So when you're making, I know vermicelli is quite high in carbs, but what you can do is you can use a lot of vegetables to make sure that even little bit of quantity makes you full. After adding the tomatoes, I'm going to add some potatoes now because my tomatoes are almost cooked, and I'm going to add all the other vegetables as well. So try to add a lot of vegetables to your cooking because they have fiber and they keep you full for a long time, and they have very low calories as well. So now you can see I'm just going to mix it for some time to make sure that they will get cooked properly. Now I'm going to add some chili powder. So here I have taken 1 spoon of chili powder because I like my food to be spicy, but you can change it according to your taste. Then I'm taking 1 spoon of garam masala. And I'm taking a little bit of dry methi, which is called fenugreek leaves. It gives a very nice flavor to the semia. And as you can see, the semia looks so colorful. So I'm just going to mix it properly. And then I forgot to add the peanuts. So what I'm going to do is I'm just roasting it in a small pan. But when you're making it, please make sure that you dry roast the peanuts before you can start the recipe. I forgot, and that's the reason I'm just doing it in another pan. And after that's done, I'm going to add some water to the vegetables to make sure that they get cooked properly. Because if we add the water after adding the vermicelli, it'll get very soggy, and I don't like that. That's the reason I add the water before, to make sure that the vegetables will be cooked when we add the vermicelli. So now our peanuts are done, so I'm going to add them in the pan where I got all the vegetables, and going to mix it again. And now I'm going to cover it and cook it for 10 minutes. So now my vegetables are cooked, and I'm going to add the vermicelli here. So you can make the upma recipes also the same way. Instead of adding the vermicelli, you can add suji, which is also called as semolina. So after that's done, I'm just adding some coriander, and you can see it looks so yummy. I like to pair it with protein yogurt, but you can have with whatever you want. So the second recipe for today is cauliflower paratha, which is also called as gobi paratha. To start this recipe, what I'm going to do is I have washed my cauliflower, and I'm going to grate it to make the mixture before I can stuff the parathas with. So now I have taken here the cauliflower grated. some green chili and some coriander. After that, I am adding little bit of Himalayan salt to it depending on your taste, and then I'm adding half tablespoon of turmeric, little bit of dry fenugreek leaves, which is sukhi methi. That gives the parathas a very nice texture. Then I'm adding, so I've already added the green chili, so I'm only using half tablespoon of red chili. Otherwise the paratha will be very spicy. And at the last I'm using little bit of garam masala. And now I'm going to mix everything properly just to make sure that the masala is mixed in the cauliflower. So I'm now just mashing it to make sure we have mixed it. Now what I'm going to do is I have already knead the dough, and now I'm taking a small ball of dough. I'm going to mix it properly. So the parathas are same like how we make a roti. So first what I'll do is I'll make a small roti, and that's what I'm doing here. I've also taken some dry flour just to make sure that my roti doesn't get stick to the base. For that I'm taking a baleen and I'm making a small round roti before I can fill it with the cauliflower masala that we have made. So now this shape is enough for me. So now I'm taking little bit of the cauliflower masala and filling it in this roti, but make sure that you don't fill it too much, otherwise it'll be very hard to make the roti and everything will just start coming out. So now I'm just pressing the corners together to make sure that I make it into a small ball, and then we will shape it into the roti again. So for that I have taken little bit of dry flour again, and I'm trying to make it into round shape by using my hands. And then I'm going to use the baleen. So I'm putting very light pressure, plus I am adding the dry flour as well just to make sure that the masala doesn't come out. So now I'm using little bit of ghee once it's cooked on one side. So this will be, so the cauliflowers are very low in carbs and low in calories as well. So this paratha you can pair it up with yogurt or whatever you want, and it tastes amazing. So the third recipe is one of my favorites. So today I'm making bread omelette, which is very high in protein and it keeps you full. To start making this recipe, what I'm going to do is I am going to break eggs. So I'm using one full egg, and for the second egg I am just using the egg whites to make sure that my omelette will be high in fiber but less in fat. And I can use the yolk for some other recipes, so you can do that same as well. So after breaking the egg, I am going to whisk it properly just to make sure there is not much bubbles and the yolk is mixed with the egg whites. So I'm just going to whisk it for a minute, and after that's done, what I'm going to do is I am adding a little bit of pink Himalayan salt to it, and then a little bit of black pepper. So I don't eat onions at all, so if you want you can add them at this step. I don't use it, so I have just skipped this step. So here I'm adding my vegetables. I have added some carrots, some peas, broccoli and some coriander. So I'm adding all the vegetables here. So this will be high in protein and high in fiber as well. So once I have it in the morning, it keeps me full for a really long time. So now I'm going to mix the vegetables with the egg mixture. So now you can see that it's mixed properly. After our eggs are done, what I'm going to do is I'm taking one slice of bread and I'm going to cut it in a small piece. So I'm just cutting the edges and I'm going to take out the middle part, and we are going to cook it separately. So it feels like a sandwich when you're having it, but you're just using one bread, so you have reduced the amount of carbs you're having as well. And to start making the omelette, what I'm doing is I'm taking the edgy part first and I'm going to fill that gap with the vegetable and egg mixture. So we will cook them first and then we will add the other part on top of it, and then it tastes like a sandwich, but it's using only one bread, so we have lowered the carbs and the calories as well because we are using only one bread, and it tastes exactly like an omelette sandwich. After that, what I'm doing is I'm using some chili flakes and just putting on top of the egg mixture, and I'm going to cover it with a pan to let the vegetables cook. I'm also adding little bit of mozzarella cheese. So this is a fat-free cheese, but you can use any cheese you want. For breakfast, you can actually have a high calorie meal as well because you have the whole day to burn the calories. After that's cooked, I am going to keep that other part of the bread on top of it and push it nicely just to make sure that the bread sticks to the vegetables and it doesn't come out when we are trying to change the side. So that's what I'm doing. I've used a fork and I'm pushing the bread down. So now we are going to change the side because one side is cooked. I am using a fork and changing the side just to make sure the other side of egg and the vegetables is cooked as well. I'm also pushing it again just to make sure that whatever egg mixture is left, that gets cooked properly. And now you can see it tastes amazing. I have paired it with a spicy sauce, but you can pair it with whatever you want. So last but not the least is my favorite recipe on my busy days. So today we are going to make the rava dosa. So to start making that, I'm taking some suji. So it depends for how many people you're making. So I'm making only for myself. So I've taken 4 spoons of suji, and then what I'm doing is I'm going to use some yogurt. So here I'm using protein yogurt, but you can use normal homemade curd as well. After that, I'm adding little bit of Himalayan pink salt in it, and then I'm going to mix it properly. So this has to be like a thick paste before we can add in extra water. So I'm mixing it just to make sure there is no lump in it. So now you can see it, we got a solid base, and after that I'm adding water. So we want the dosa consistency, so you can keep adding the water till you get the consistency. It shouldn't be too thick or too thin, because if it's too thin then the dosa won't come properly. So now you can see that we got the dosa consistency. To start making the dosa, I'm heating up the dosa pan. After that's done, I am using my silicone brush and using little bit of ghee, but you can use any oil you want. I use the silicone brush so that I don't have to use a lot of oil, just little is enough, and I make sure that I spread it evenly on the pan. And then I'm taking the batter and spreading it using the spoon. So the texture, most likely it tastes like a dosa. It's not exactly dosa because it doesn't have rice in it, but this tastes like a dosa. It's lower in calories, you don't have to soak anything overnight, and it's so easy to make. You can have this dosa with any kind of sabji or chutney. I had a sabji, so I had it with that, and it tastes so yum. Thank you so much for watching my video, and please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye.